I learned a little trick from mainstream TV presenters. They don't actually sit on their chairs like you sit normally. They actually kind of lean forward a little bit. They even have special chairs where they lean on their knees. So that puts you in the frame a little bit better. So Germany is deindustrializing. Volkswagen and several other companies like the important Krupp Stahl, they're firing over 10,000 people, maybe in the tens of thousands. This is very indicative of the death of the European economy. If you know that Germany is Europe's largest economy, the EU's at the very least, and basically the engine of all of Europe. Without Germany, there would be no money to fund the EU itself, and Europeans will be condemned to become basically wage slaves to foreign owners. This is also happening in Britain. Recently, the government of Keir Starmer announced that he wants to somehow tax farmers an inheritance tax, which basically means they'll have to sell up their land. But who will buy it? Who will buy Europe's land? Well, the Arabs, the Chinese, the Russians. Basically, everybody we're supposedly at war with is welcome to buy everything we have. And that means Europe is at risk of becoming a consumer market for foreign goods for which we must work slave jobs. There is a way out, of course. That would be a return to tradition. If the Europeans would have the guts, the nerve, to quit following the path of Mammon, the god of money, and follow the real God again, the God of blood and spirit, so to speak, and blood and soil, then we might put up a fight. We might put up a stand, right? This kind of conflict has happened in Europe 2,000 years ago when the Roman Empire came to Western Germany, because Western German lands were and still are the most fertile agricultural lands in Europe and possibly in the entire world. Rome needed those lands to feed its Roman citizens. The city of Rome was expanding and they couldn't feed all their soldiers and they couldn't feed all their people. So the Germans put up a fight, but not without some trouble. As the story goes, the chieftain of the Karasker tribe united the others, the Marzi, the Tencteri, the Katai, and several others, the Bruckter. I'm sorry, I don't know all the names of all of them. But these Germanic tribes quickly formed an alliance. Clearly, these super fertile lands were able to host a very large Germanic population. And when the Romans came, they had to send in their legions. And if you've heard the story of the Battle of the Teutoburg Forest, that didn't end well for these invading colonizers. They were basically butchered off, completely slaughtered to the last man, including their service staff, their cooks, and their prostitutes. They were all killed off, and the Germans reclaimed their territories. The reason why Germans still speak German and their language was never Romanized, as has happened in Spain and France, where the Celtic language was Romanized. Right, but there was another party led by the traitor Segestes. And Segestes, who was the father of the wife that Arminius had married, right, he wanted to make peace with the Romans. He was like Chamberlain in the World War II. He was an appeaser, pursuing appeasement politics. If only we could just live together with the Romans and be multicultural and diverse and welcome everybody in, then we can have wealth, we can have stuff, we can have architecture, we can have big buildings and shiny little tinker toys. Arminius won this battle. He argued that you can follow Segestes to Roman wealth and luxury, or follow me, Arminius, to the ways of our traditional forefathers. And a majority of the men, the fighting age males, sided with Arminius, formed a military alliance, right? And they defeated the Romans by luring them into an ambush. So what are we going to do now, right? If Europe is being sacrificed to serve the economic interests of billionaires living elsewhere, in the USA, for example, but also in Dubai or in Beijing, then what's going to be left of Europe? If we Europeans cling to our material wealth, to our nice and shiny stuff, to our cars and our houses, we will go extinct. There's only one way out. We have to become deeply religious people again, who feel a strong bond of the blood, so to speak. We become blood brothers again, right? And we form that alliance together. We make a stand for ourselves and for those who come after us.